Welcome to Dental Vibes. I'm Gabby.
And I'm Carla.
And if you're new here, we have been dental assistants for over a decade now. In our channel, we talk about everything in dentistry. So we have contents for our fellow dental assistants, but also for anybody that wants to take care of their oral health.
Yep, and if you're returning back, thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to hit the like button. Also, tell your friends about us and make sure that they subscribe and hit the notification button.
We're only at 2,000 subscribers, so
almost there. So, like we said, hit the notification button. We put out videos every week so you don't miss them.
And today we're gonna give you guys some interview tips.
Yeah.
Interviews could be
a nightmare.
Could be a nightmare for anybody, but especially for newbies. So what should you expect out of a dental interview, and what you should wear, what you should say, what you should ask. We're gonna give you guys all this information, and I think that the most important thing for an interview is that when you look the part.
Yes, right? Absolutely. You gotta always look professional. That's the #1 thing.
Yeah. So we always say, business casual, have your scrubs in the car just in case that they want you to do a working interview and you're available, you just jump in. Now, in some occasions, it is not unprofessional to show up wearing your scrubs.
Which I have.
Yeah, I have too. My last interview, I was wearing scrubs because I was working all that day, and they're like, you know, just come after work. It's completely fine. So it's not unprofessional, but
it has to be like your best scrubs. Yeah. You still have to look professional, you know, like the hair, your face.
Especially now with the PPE that we have going on. Yeah. Don't go in after work looking with your hair and face looking crazy. So make sure, even if you are wearing scrubs, you look professional. But I have a list here because we're going to talk about a lot today.
So sit down, grab a snack.
Exactly. So the second thing is you want to make sure, obviously, you're on time. Oh yes.
This is not the time for you to be like, oh yeah, 5-minute or 15-minute rule. No, you want to make sure that you know how long the office is from where you're at. You know, like what's the driving time? Is there going to be traffic? Yeah. You have to be there, I would say, at least 5 minutes earlier.
At least 5 minutes earlier. Also, this is a strange one, and I'm sure a lot of people haven't heard it, but it is always good to have a portfolio in your hand.
Oh, I have one.
Yes. So what am I meaning about portfolio? So it's just a folder that's going to have a copy of your resume. It's going to have all your certifications. If you have a letter of recommendation from a doctor you work for, that's awesome. That's going to have, on the last page, is going to have the questions that you want to ask.
Yes.
And some space for you to write notes, because you're going to forget things that's going to happen. So you want to make sure you write your notes. Another thing, this is important. You always want to make sure to do your homework.
Oh yes.
About the office you're going to interview.
Yeah. And it's 2020, almost 2021, guys. You got to make sure what kind of reviews the office have. Do they have a website? Any social media? If they don't have any of that, I would just like, that's weird. I would rethink about even going in for an interview if they call me. Because come on, that means that they're probably not keeping up with the times on other areas. That's just my assumption. So make sure you check that. What do they tell about themselves in the website? What are they telling their own patients, you know?
Or what are the patient reviews?
Oh yeah.
So that should tell you something. So another thing, whenever you do your homework, you want to make sure that you memorize at least 2 things that you can relate to. And we're going to tell you why. We're going to be using that later on. So we're going to go ahead and jump into frequently asked questions that I think is in any interview, not just dental.
Yeah, that you've heard them if you've had another interview,
Yeah. And now this question, if you ever had this question come up in an interview, please, right now, you're going to comment below and say
yes. Tell us.
Because I know that I had this question before. And I really made a fool out of myself answering.
It's just like one of the things that, you know, people get messed up with, like what to answer. Tell us the question.
Okay, so this is a question. Tell me about yourself. And it's so simple, but like at the time, everything just goes blank and you're like, what's my name?
Because you're like wondering, what do they really want to know? Well, they do want to know just a sneak peek about you. That is really what the question is. So this is not really the time to say like, oh,
I'm a hard worker. I'm reliable.
I'm on time. Like, no, it's really just about you. So let's do like a little role play. So I'm gonna ask you, Gabby, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I've been a dental assistant for about 10 years. I stumbled on dental assisting and I'm glad I did. I worked for about 5 offices in my career. They were all different, which it all taught me something. I just finished my bachelor's degree in health sciences. I love to spend time with my dog on my free time, and I love to go to the gym. Now I have to say that the best thing in dentistry for me is temporary crowns. I just love doing them.
Nice, great answer. See, short and simple.
Oh, I forgot to say I'm from Massachusetts, but you see how it's just like
put you on the spotlight.
When you stop to think about it, you're like, oh my god, where do I begin? But something super sweet and short. And just, gives somebody like the picture of you and who you are, and that's that. Yeah. Should be very simple. Okay, so question number 2. Oh, this one. What are your weaknesses and your strengths?
Yes. That's a tough one. By the way, when they ask you what your weaknesses are, you don't actually say what your real weakness is. Let them find out for themselves.
My weakness is whenever patients refuse x-rays because of radiation, I have the urge to punch them in the throat.
Or I don't like to wake up early, so I'm always late. You just let them find out on their own. Like, it has to be something that, how would we put it? Like, you can work on, and it's not really like gonna affect your
overall performance, right? So again, let's role play. So go ahead and ask me.
Okay, Gabby, can you tell me what are your weaknesses and strengths?
Yeah, so I'm gonna start with my strengths. I think I already mentioned that I love temporary crowns, and if I could tell you my perfect day, it would be just crowns all day. Oh, so that's my strength. And I would say that my weakness is I find it hard to ask for help. Okay. So a lot of times I feel that I can handle a lot of things on my own. I don't want to bother people. I know everybody's busy. And I do know that everybody should work in a team, and it's really not a hassle for somebody to come and help me. So I have been working on that to just, it's okay to ask for help. But I think that's my weakness.
See, it's definitely, I like that answer because you're telling how you're working on it, and it's nothing like super bad. It's not saying that you don't like to work as a team player. You just are a hard worker. So you're kind of implying that as well. And I love the strength. If you're a newbie and you're just like, well, I'm just starting, what is my strength, right? Well,
and it could be customer service too.
It could be that.
My strength is that, whenever I have a patient in my chair that is afraid of any procedure or something like that I am there to assure them that's going to be okay. It could be anything.
It could also be like what you would like to learn more about, that you just could be like, for example, let's say you're coming out of school, temporaries might be not very easy to do right now, but you're like, really would like to be more experienced in making temporaries. I'm very excited about that, and I'm ready to learn more about it while I'm on the job. So something like that if you don't know, at least you have something to put forward.
Yeah. So the next one is, this is a tricky one too. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I hate that question.
I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. Okay?
Yeah, I know. Or like, let's say, what if somebody asked you that in, 5 years ago? Look where we are today after COVID.
Well, in a year, I plan to move to Colorado. Yeah. And they're going to be like, so...
why are you? Why are we going to invest in training you and keeping you around? That's, definitely... any immediate plans that you have going on and you need this job, I wouldn't say lie, but keep it to a minimum, because you gotta understand they need somebody they can count on. They have a position available. they need an employee to fill that position. So if you're already from the get-go telling them in a year I'm not gonna be here, or because I'm moving, whatever is happening in your personal life, it's just gonna turn them off a little bit, I would think. Any job.
I mean, I'm not saying you can never tell them.
Right.
I mean, you can say it in another question maybe. When you're already working there. But you know, whenever you answer that question, you want to make sure that you just keep it vague, because one, we really don't know
you
where
really
we're gonna
don't
be.
yeah you don't
Exactly.
But I would say that, for example, the biggest thing that I see dental assistants that maybe they want to go into hygiene school, or they want to go into dental school, is just gonna be, okay, you're gonna have a school schedule and all these other activities. Well, how do you make your job a priority? Well, when you're talking about where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, hopefully I see myself in dentistry, because this is something that I'm very passionate about, and I want to continue growing every year.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means, you know, because you don't know also. That's just like your own personal plans. So you can put it in that way to give them that, oh, okay, you know, she's just interested and she's gonna be into it.
I agree. Another one, and I think this is the last one. Why are you a great fit for this office?
Oh, tough question.
So now you can use your homework, because you already looked them up, you already know what this office is about, and you already picked 2 things, right, that you can relate, and you can say, hey, I noticed that you guys do CEREC crowns in the office. If you haven't worked with CEREC crowns, you say, you know, I've been working with CEREC crowns. I love it. I'm so excited that you guys have CEREC here. Or if you haven't worked with it, but you've always been interested, like, I've noticed you guys have CEREC crowns here. I've never personally worked with it, but I've been meaning to get training on it. I'm very interested. So any little thing that you know that they do that you can relate,
you just put it out there.
you can mention that. So that's questions, and obviously if we're gonna mention all the questions that you're gonna hear, we're gonna be here all day. But these are like the most asked questions.
Yes.
Now we're gonna jump to the questions that you should be asking, which everybody should be asking questions.
Yes, because even so, ideally, the office manager or the dentist, they would be like, at the end of it, or once they got their info out, they'd be like, do you have any questions? If they don't say that, you could be like, hey, by the way, I have a few questions, because you do want to get more information. Put them on the spot a little bit.
Yeah, and then also it is odd that you're not gonna have any questions. You know. So, number 1 question that you should ask is, what is your schedule like, and can I see one?
Oh, yes.
Right?
The newbies may not know what we're talking about, but those of you who've been around, you want to see this.
You want to see the schedule.
You want to see the schedule.
You want to make sure that I mean, if you're a newbie, then you don't know what you're walking into when you start in a dental office. But if you've been working in dentistry for a while, you know exactly what kind of office you see yourself in. There are the offices that will see 50 patients a day. Is like a manufacturer's, like in and out. There are the offices that, you know, prioritize on taking time to do every procedure and making sure everything is doing properly, and not killing the team, right? There are offices that will make sure that you have lunch. There are offices that don't care if you eat. So you want to get a feel of what their day is like, so you can say, hey, I can see myself doing this, or it's like, no, hell no. Yeah.
Now we have a few categories within this one question. Because, okay, so when you're looking, if they do show you a schedule, that's better as a visual, because you're like, oh, this many patients, it's very busy or whatever. Or they have like empty slots, and you're like, they don't have a busy schedule. What does that mean?
Yeah, because sometimes if the schedule falls apart, the office manager will just send you home. Yeah. And for me, that's a concern.
Or make you clock out and then you clock in, Like, let's say there's like an empty spot from 2 to 3, and you
clock out, and then whenever your next patient's here, you clock back in. Yeah. That's a huge concern for me.
Yes.
So I want to make sure what kind of protocol they have for that.
You know, do you do busy work, like helping the hygienist, restocking, right?
Do you have to call patients to get to schedule? Do they make you clock out? Do they send you home? So all that you need to know, because it could be a full-time job that you're signing up for, but if it's an office that, you know, the schedule's always falling apart and they're sending you home, then you might be doing part-time hours.
Yeah, not really full-time. And that goes also, like, what is your, you know, how many hours you're making a week, but like they usually tell you, oh yeah, we work 8 to 4, but you don't really work 8 to 4 because you probably have to be there at 7:30, and by the time you're done with your patient at the end of the day, you're looking like 5 o'clock. So you need to know that, especially if you know, have other plans that you do after work.
I have a good one.
Yeah.
So this is a red flag, and you know you should just run away. So when they say, oh, you know, we are here for our patients, and we just accommodate our patients.
Accommodate.
However you can. You say thank you for your time, you grab your stuff, and you leave. Because that means you're not going to have lunch. That means they're going to stick a root canal at 3 o'clock, and you're not going to be done until 6. For me personally, that's a big thing because I have things to do. And I'm hangry. And I need my lunch.
She is hangry. So now I get hungry too, like 11:55 blood sugar levels.
So it's like I want to make sure that they respect my lunch, and I want to make sure that we are getting out of there in a reasonable time. So very important for me to look at the schedule. So the next thing that we have is for you to ask what type of technology do they have. So
big one.
So are they still paper charts? Are they paperless? Do they do digital x-rays, films? If it's films or paper, please run. I'm bougie. I will not work there.
You're bougie.
I will not work there.
It's like, definitely, that also goes with, you know, do they do continuing education, especially for the new DAs? Hey, you just pass your DMBs, right? And how do you need a certain amount of credits every year to keep that up. It will be better if the offer just sets you up with that. That way you don't have to pay out of your pocket or look for it. But yeah, I mean, you don't really want to be like learning how to take, how to develop film x-rays.
You will never catch me in an office.
I did work in an office that took film long time ago.
I did too, but we didn't have to develop. Like, it had the machine that you just drop it and that's it. But still, you just get the damn digital x-ray.
Yeah, but by now you should be like, that office should be planning on getting a new one, or like any other thing. You know, you have to be learning something. Dentistry is very dynamic. There's always something new happening, and you want to stay updated, right?
Yeah, you don't want to work for an office that has that old school doctor that doesn't want to, you know, progress or learn anything new. Because I'll tell you, and I talked to an assistant that had this issue. She's like, you know, I worked for this office for I don't know how many years, and then I got a new job and they expect me to do all these things, and like I'm so overwhelmed. And you know, my old boss, he did everything, and like we were old school. So I'm like, that is, I'm sorry, that's your fault. Because you should work in an office that you're going to learn new things every single day, and that you're going to keep up with technology. So that makes you be able to go to any office and just pick things up and, you know, move on.
Yeah, this goes back to like, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What kind of, even if you're still dental assistant, what type of assistant will you be if you're just suctioning, right?
Exactly.
There's so much more that we can do. We gotta learn. I like that you keep saying you gotta learn at least something new or update something new once a year. That's totally doable.
Yeah. The next thing, now we're kind of towards the end of our interview. Salary is gonna pop up, right? And offices nowadays, well, not nowadays, I feel like offices in general, they will try to lowball you and they will ask you what you want to get paid.
Yeah.
Because if you say a lower amount that they have in mind, they're just going to go with that.
Yeah. And
so
that's it.
what do? You zip it. You don't say anything. When they ask you what salary that you have in mind, you can say, I'm open for negotiation.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I do feel like if they're really trying to get a number out of you, you should be prepared. You should have a number in your head after consulting the Ever So Great Dental Assistant groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because we're always in communication. You know, you want to know what's the average rate salaries in your area, because it changes, especially for newbies. I think that a lot of people say they start at very like from like 10 to like all the way to 19, and I'm just like,
newbie salaries are all over the place, and this is a problem because and you know, newbies, please don't get offended. I'm gonna be straight to the point here and tell you that you know, even though you paid your dues, maybe you went to a dental assisting program, you paid for it, you did your externship, cool, but you're still not prepared.
Yeah.
Whoever hires you still gonna have to invest in you and train you. And if it's a busy office, it's gonna be a hassle. So I'm not telling you to work for a minimum wage, obviously not, but I'm telling you, don't expect or ask or be mad if an office doesn't want to pay you top dollars because you are not experienced yet, and it takes a long time for an assistant to be comfortable and be able to do things without supervision. So whenever you start on Facebook groups and you start talking about salary, it varies so much that you could be confused. So like some assistant that just started might be very lucky to find an office to pay top dollar, but that's kind of rare. So just keep that in mind.
I think that definitely don't be discouraged. The number one thing as a newbie, I think, is just getting a job and getting some experience under your belt, because after that, after you put in 6 months of hard work and you know, you decide that you need to move on for whatever reason, you have that, you'll feel more comfortable, you're able to hold better interviews, better working interviews, because you kind of already know the flow of the office. So don't get discouraged. I think getting the job is the most important thing, because I feel like you can always move on.
That's true, but also another thing to look at is their benefit package. Because sometimes you're going to get an office that's going to pay you a little bit more, but it's going to offer you zero benefits. So you always want to ask whenever, let's say, they ask you, okay, what salary are you looking for? You say we're open for negotiation, and they go and tell you, I'm going to pay you $15 an hour, let's say. And then you say, okay, well, what are your benefits? Now, because sometimes it kind of balances it out when you put everything, you know, on
because
paper.
What do you count for benefits, which is important? Paid holidays, paid vacation time, paid sick days. Insurance. So
a big one.
I mean, because if you're going to pay me $30 and I have 0 days off, there it goes.
Oh, no benefits at all. You know, it's like...
Then you have to do that all out of your own pocket.
So all that you need to... Because you don't have to accept an offer right there.
No.
So just see what they're willing to offer. Then you can say, maybe you can say your number after, and then you guys can talk about negotiating. Probably gonna say, hey, let me talk to the doctor, see what we come up with, and then we'll let you know.
And you say, well, and you know, also let me know what would it take for me to get to that number. You know, do you do a evaluation after my 90 days or after 6 months? How often you do reviews? How often you give out raises? That's really key information you need.
Okay, last question is a really interesting question that is definitely going to make you stand out in an interview. So you're going to go ahead and ask whoever's interviewing you, what do you like the most about working here?
Ooh, curveball.
Exactly. Because that's gonna show that you are not just looking for a job. You are looking for your next dental home, and you want to know the environment. You want to make sure
I love
it's
that.
a good environment for you to be in. So it's definitely gonna set you apart.
Yes, I've never thought about that, but it's great. Or like you can even ask if the dentist's still there, what do you like the most about dentistry? Because it's so easy, you know, once you get doing a job every day, you know, kind of like the same, it's very easy to get burnout or not interested anymore. And believe me, those dentists are there. So
And it's definitely not who you want to work for, because it's going to be that grumpy doctor that's
very
miserable,
demoralizing.
and you can sense it.
Yeah.
You want to get that vibe that you both have the same interest in dentistry and that you're going to work great together.
Absolutely.
This video has been long enough, so we're gonna wrap it up. But I do want to mention something that is super important when you're looking for jobs. What's gonna make you stand out is your resume and your cover letter.
Absolutely.
And personally, I always thought cover letters are so stupid, a waste of time.
No, they're nice.
They're not. And a lot of people are like, what do I even put in a cover letter? So if you guys want, please make sure to leave us a comment. If you want us to do a video that is going to give you a sample of a good resume for dental assistants and also what a cover letter should include. And we'll be more than happy to do a video if you guys need.
And if you want to see my portfolio,
you
can also throw it in there. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching our videos. Please let us know if any of our tips helped you during your interview. Did you get the job? Let us know in the comment below. And like this video, please. We need those somewhere. Don't forget to do that. And subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. Hit the notification button so you don't miss any of our weekly videos. And we'll see you next time. Keep smiling.